All right, hi everyone. Today we are drawing a shoe with charcoal in a reductive way. So what I want to do is get my supplies together. Got my shoe that I'm drawing here. Have my charcoal, small and big pieces, my kneaded eraser, my gum eraser, a blending rag, and my paintbrush, right? So I'm gonna start by toning my paper. So I have my piece of paper. What I'm gonna do is cover the whole thing with charcoal, and I'm gonna use my blending rag to blend it in. Do a few more layers until I get the whole thing covered and it's a nice middle gray. All right, so just like on those cooking shows, I've prepared one separately. There we go. Boom. All right, so I have my paper toned here, and have my shoe kind of set up right over here off camera. Sorry, let's do this. Boom. Okay. So I kind of want this slightly more angled view. So what I'm going to just do is prop my shoe up just a little bit. I think it's important to kind of get everything set up beforehand. You know, get your still life the way you want it, get all your materials the way you want it. That way you just get to draw and you don't have to think about the materials, collecting materials or whatever. All right, so I have my still life, my paper toned with fine charcoal. I have my equipment, and now I'm just gonna maybe do a few thumbnails beforehand to work out some compositions. So I have some sketches here. Again, thumbnails are great for working through compositions. So maybe I'll have my shoe right in the middle for one of them. Maybe I'll have it to the side for another one. Maybe I want to do some vertical pieces. Maybe I want to zoom out for one and have the whole table behind it. Right? So I kind of did a few, and I'm realizing I really just like it kind of, I think this one would be great, except I want more negative space on the bottom, right? I think so. I'm going to do it right here. Okay, cool. So I have a plan. I'm just going to sketch it in with my eraser. Loosely at first, right? Don't have to get it right on the first try. In fact, I do think of drawing as a way of looking, right? So even though I wear these shoes a lot, I don't really know all the shapes. And so if I'm spending a little bit of time really, really looking at it through the act of drawing it, then I'll have I guess what I'm saying is if you could suspend what you think you know about the object, then you're gonna get a more natural likeness of whatever you're trying to draw. So I'm feeling it out. There's lots of working lines here. I'm not settling on anything too quickly. I am starting to get some of those highlights just because they are beautiful contour lines in and of themselves. Get the sole in here. After I've drawn with the eraser for a while, maybe I want to draw with my charcoal. I'm noticing this is a nice angle here. So before I jump in with the charcoal, what I might do is check on my proportions a little bit. So I'm going to do some siding. I'm going to take a straight edge like this paintbrush here, and I'm going to check the width to height ratio. So the width is a 1 to 1, 2.5. Okay, so on here it should be 1 to 1, 2. I'm noticing that it's off a little bit. Like this is too tall maybe, or not wide enough. I think it's not wide enough. So what I'll do is take a step back, look at my drawing and reassess here. I think that there's just more of a toe. what I have. There we go. Okay, again, some siding here, so we know that that's 1, 1 to 1, 2. That's better. Okay. So that's called siding for proportions. And then, yeah, so I might go in with some darks here, dark values. And every time I touch my paper, I'm adjusting things as I go. So making the contours a little bit more specific. So a contour is just a slow, specific line that's in and outside of the object, right? So it's including these lines inside of my view, as well as the outside lines like this one. Trying to double check and adjust this curve a little bit. Now the wear and tear of these shoes is kind of what gives them so much character and beauty and uniqueness. And each scuff has a story, right? That sounds kind of silly and whatever, extra poetic, but I don't care. I mean, I think it's beautiful to think of these shoes as having a history. Okay. You could also use siding to check your angles. So if we know that the side of your picture planes here is what we call noon, like think of a clock in front of you, this is points up and down, it's noon, and this top and bottom of the paper is like 3 o'clock, you could check the angles of things, right? So I'm checking this angle of this part of the shoe here, and I'm realizing that it's approximately, I don't know, like 5 o'clock, 4:30. So then I could check on my paper, is it about 4:30? So it's a little bit off. So basically it's just a way to take something that's more intuitive and making it a little bit more objective, like a clock face. And as you can tell, I'm also just following the form, right? So this line that I'm adding the value with, and it's not going to be like that, right? Because that'll destroy the form. Instead, I'm going to follow the form. This top of the shoe here. I'm going to follow the form here like this, around the shoe. Maybe follow the grain. That's called a wrapping contour, right? So a wrapping contour follows the form, and it helps to give the object more volume or visual weight, right? Weight. Okay, so going back and forth between the eraser as a drawing tool and the charcoal as a drawing tool. Again, following the form. There we go. Softening up those contours a little bit, right? So sometimes if you have a contour that's too dark, it flattens an object, kind of like a comic book, right? So just be aware of that. And, you know, avoid those big, bold contours if you can. Okay. Yeah, so making some progress here. So I guess at this point, what I would do is just keep adding values, kind of making shapes more and more specific, pushing and pulling, taking some charcoal away, putting it back, blending in. Maybe I'd spray fix it. And then go back into it, right? So if I spray fix it, I could make some areas even darker. Yeah, there we go. So that's a shoe. And when I'm totally done, I would spray fix it again. Make sure it doesn't come off. All right. So that's reductive charcoal drawing of a shoe. Have fun.